Bedtime, you failed us. Everyone's been asking for the Jiggling at Range tier list from Bedtime for a long time, and yet he has switched up on his day ones. He doesn't listen to us anymore. So I, Kiki Mame, will be making the Jiggling at Range tier list. We got a bunch of fighters today. Almost all of them are still on the UFC roster. I threw a couple of special mentions on there, but let's get right into it. First up, we got to put I got Justin Tafa in the B tier. I think that Justin Tafa, look, it's not just a fat person tier list. It's a legit range tier list. We got to consider that. So I think that while Justin Tafa is nowhere near as fat as some of the other fighters that people go over, he has a very nice up and down jiggle, especially when he's at range. I mean, normally fights don't last that long because they'll get knocked out or like EKO'd pretty fast. But he's still on the UFC roster technically, and he has a nice jiggle. It bounces up and down. I like to see it. It's not crazy. There are definitely better ones, but there is definitely a noticeable jiggle when he's fighting. I consider him an A tier. I say he's top B tier. Next up, this fighter will be going in C tier because he's kind of a little bit too good now. Tom Aspinall. He's a heavyweight, yes. There is some jiggle. He's not F tier. There are some F tier ones that we have that just aren't really the jiggle that I'm looking for. There's a little bit. They'd be fat. They're not jiggling enough. But Tom Aspinall, there's a little bit of bounce there. A little bit of bounce. He's still a little bit more in his earlier UFC days. I think that photo might not be real, and they might have made him more fat in that photo. But that's regardless of that. Still, yeah, a little bit of bounce, not quite enough jiggle to like Justin Tafa. You can see his stomach bouncing up and down the whole fight, as long as it lasts, even if he loses. Whereas Tom Aspinall, there's some jiggle, but it's only really when he's bouncing around. Like whatever Justin Tafa does, there's movement. Let's keep on going. Next up, we have in the A tier. If this is going to work, Derek. Oops. Derek Lewis. Oh, he's the stomach is too big. You cannot. Is that Derek Lewis? I can't even tell. No, that's not even Derek Lewis. What am I doing? Oh, I know who that is. Derek Lewis going in the A tier. Yeah, Derek Lewis, solid bounce, solid bounce. I like it. It's not perfect, but he's a very fat individual. He is washed, especially in that Waldo fight. There's just like a line that cut off like when his shorts. You could just see the width of his stomach, actually the depth, I guess it would be. And he was doing some nice. He doesn't bounce a lot. That's the only problem. That's why he's limited from an S tier. He has the S tier build, but he's not agile enough anymore. He doesn't bounce enough where you see the physics really go into effect. So that's why Derek Lewis is A tier. Sorry about the issues. I'll just put him next. John Jones, F tier. Now, you can't see his head. I zoomed in on his stomach because it's definitely a real photo of him and definitely not edited at all. John Jones at heavyweight, while he did bulk up a lot to heavyweight, there was not enough jiggle going on during the fights. I know some people would say he gained a lot of weight and that should justify it, but no. John Jones does not have enough bounce going on to be really considered in the upper echelons. This is the upper echelons. There, of course, fighters like, Ian Gary is really skinny, but I'm not even bother putting him on this tier list. It's the only guy who even make the criteria. So it's an accomplishment within itself to get into that F tier. And so you don't the F tier is going to be good. Next up, we got another B tier. Where is he? Where can't I find him? Where is Rizvan Guniev? Did I just not put him in here? No. Oh no, there he is. Found him. Yes, there he is. You can't hide from me. I know that stomach anywhere. Rizvan Guniev, B tier, solid goal right there. He's only had 2 fights in the UFC, I think, so far. He's fighting Tyrell Fortune this weekend. Tyrell Fortune, another fight. See the it goes on, the bounce is going. He could be in this tier list next time. But Rizvan Guniev lost to a no ACL Curtis Blades. We love Curtis Blades in this channel. He might be making an appearance later. But yeah, so not fighting wise, okay. He did not. He did get John nominated out of the UFC. Not we love him for that, but Ruslan Guniev, he just doesn't. Again, the bounce needs to be there. He has an A tier build, sort of similar to Derek Lewis. He's not as fat as Derek Lewis, but the jiggle just isn't there enough because he was holding Jonathan May against the fence for too long that we didn't get to see the bounce really happen, and that's why he's in the B tier. I don't know how I'm going to do this for the whole video, but we'll see. Next up, we got. I'm going to go with our first S tier of the day. Tai Tuivasa. You knew it was coming. That photo, it's probably not zoomed in enough, but you can see the wrinkles on him from the jiggle while he's celebrating. Tai Tuivasa is an exceptionally fat individual, one of the few people who truly has to do an absurd weight cut to even make heavyweight at this point in his career. I don't know how he's still in the UFC, but we love Tai Tuivasa. It's okay, but the jiggle from this man is absurd. Like you have no idea how much someone jiggled. Tai Tuivasa it should be the example. He's the standard of the best jiggling in the UFC. The bounce is great. He bounces around enough, and even when he's not bouncing, even when he moves, you see a good jiggle going on from his stomach. It's great. He is might be the best stomach jiggle in all of the UFC. There's some other fighters who jiggle elsewhere, which we will get to with our next fighter. Coming in at the F tier because we don't support this kind of jiggle on the channel. We have Dontel Mays. I don't know if he's technically still on the UFC roster. Probably not because he's a bum. But Dontel Mays, if you know, you know, had a certain north-south position where we saw a jiggle from somewhere else on the body, from more of his rear, while he was bouncing it off someone's face. And I think that while we appreciate this jiggle, it's not to the tier we want, and we don't reward people who jiggle that are behinds. That's why Tracy Cortez is not on this tier list, or Eileen Perez, someone like that. We don't count them, and we don't like women's MMA on this channel, so we're not going to discuss that. But Dontel Mays, it is truly disgusting what he did in that fight, and we don't reward that kind of cooking on the channel. So while there was some bounce, it's kind of weird to talk about, but I'm not considering him that high up on your list. Next up, let's go with another A tier. We got Steven Asplund in the A tier. Now, he might have the best chest jiggle going on, especially with all the weight loss and all the saggy skin. And he does bounce at range. We haven't seen enough of him in the UFC, but he has a great jiggle in his chest, and he has great jiggle in his body. I need to see more of him to put him in that S tier. That S tier is the upper echelon reserved for truly elite jigglers, but yeah, but Stephen Aspen, he's pretty good. He has a nice chest bounce. It's just so saggy. There's so much skin that I don't know if I can put him in the S tier because there's not enough fat there. It's just more skin because he lost weight. So Stephen Aspen, if you gain another 100 pounds, hopefully you don't for your own health, but you can come in that S tier when you do that. Next up, let's go with another B tier. Oh my days, Louis Sutherland. You can see how thick he is. By the way, that is the official UFC photo. How can you let that be your official UFC photo? You have no idea how fat he looks. Like, it's just the depth. Like, some people are wider. He looks very wide and very deep in that photo. Like, you can just tell, even though it's like a 2D photo, you can just tell how far out his comic sticks out. And it's just like absurd how one man can be that much of a block. Like he's the perfect example of a rectangle, of a fridge. He is the male fridge. And the jiggling is very good, but then again, he was on the ground against Walter Walker, so we didn't get to see the true jiggle in that fight. And Tai Tuivasa fight, that was a abomination to the UFC. So I'm not even gonna remember that happened. Yeah. So Louis Sutherland, good jiggle, very fat individual. That probably saves him. He doesn't jiggle quite enough to be in this high, but he's so fat that bumps him up. Next up, we got another F tier. Curtis Blades. I'm sorry, he goes in the S tier. He has a decent, like he has some jiggle, probably better than the other two guys I pointed out so far in the F tier, but he is somewhat skinny, and the chest jiggle isn't enough to get him out of the F tier. And he's just a really good fighter too. And I feel bad. Like, I feel like Tom Aspinall, he deserves the C tier because he has good jiggle. But I feel like it's funnier when you're really fat and jiggly and you jiggle at range, but you're not even that good. And that's why it's funnier. Yeah. So Curtis Blades F tier, not good enough. Next up in the C tier. Azamat Murzakanov, great, go not great, but good. He jiggles. He's a little bit too skinny to be any higher. Like it will be jiggle and fat to really get into the upper echelon. And I really appreciate he gets that range a lot, which is good. I like when there's strikers, it works better because you see the bounce going on more. But he needs to gain a little bit more weight. If we move up to heavyweight, we consider him for a B or an A tier. But right now, as a Mott, you're in the C tier. It's okay. Not everyone can be as good as. Next up, we got Shamil, the Blob, Gazayev. I don't know. I call him Blob. Of course, the Blob would be making appearance to the S tier. There is no one who waddles quite like him. We will be winning against Kenny Akigu, whatever his name is. I really can't pronounce it. I really have trouble with all the consonants in a row. I'm not good with that. But Shamil, truly the blob. There's no other. You're really put the blob in the A tier and jiggle at range tier list. Shamil has truly shown what it takes to being one of like he's probably might be the best fat heavyweight at just knocking out cans and getting knocked out by any higher competition. We have someone else who's almost at that tier coming up later who will be an S tier. He does not in the UFC anymore. A little bit of a hint. And I really like him. So if you can figure out who he is, drop a comment below. But yeah, Shamil, how could the blob? He's one of the reasons this list gets made, and his bedtime refused to make it. Shamil, you are a beautiful human being. Never let anyone tell you that. We are here for the Shamil, the blob title run. It starts in Sacramento. We love you, Shamil. You jiggle a lot. There's a great jiggle going on. The blob really, truly is a perfect nickname for him. And if you have the nickname the blob, you're going to be great at range, and you go in the S tier. We got to move on. We have seven. Ooh, do we have 8 fighters to go? This is going to be a long video. Next up in the A tier, Kevin Gastelum. Oh, look at that photo. It's just a tiny neck. How many has he missed weights more than any other fighter in the UFC? Like, it is impressive that like Brian Battle misses weight like twice and he immediately gets cut. That Kevin Gastelum can eat Taco Bell all day and miss weight a million times and never get cut. I think he just got a fight announced. Oh, he's fighting Belguri for the UFC Noche. He's gonna get killed. But in that fight, it should be at range. It should stay on the feet. It should be a strike. I mean, he'll probably want to get on the ground, but he's not very good. So Belguri will keep it on the feet, and we should get to see Kevin Gastelum to go wall striking. Like Kevin Gastelum, Israel Adesanya, the jiggling from Kevin Gastelum was insane. And now he's even fatter now. He's another good. He's the fridge build. A couple of these guys on the list have a very good fridge build. Louis one, oh my days, and Kevin Gastelum have a very like square, blocky fridge build. So very good from him. Good, pretty great. People get range that happens from him. We're putting him in the A tier. Next up, we got another A tier, Parker Porter. We miss Parker Porter. We want Parker Porter back in the UFC. Great jiggling. Another fridge build. These fridge builds can really make up for any jiggling that some guys that's in the same tier or tier below might have because they are just they're the best build for it. The fridge build might be the best build other than the saggy fat guy. Now that saggy fat guy is the best build for this, which we will see. Like Tai Tuivasa, saggy fat guy. Stephen Aspinall's still a saggy fat guy, even though he lost weight. Justin Taffa is a bit of a saggy fat guy, but he's just not as fat as these other guys. Why he's in the B tier. But back to the refrigerator build. Parker Porter got some good going on while he was in the UFC. Normally on the losing end, but that's okay. Great goal. We got to move on. We got 6 guys left. We are putting Thomas Peterson in the C tier. He hasn't been around for long enough for me to consider him any higher. You guys show me multiple fights of great jiggling going on to be really high in this tier list, as it is the premier jiggle fighter. So while he might get to the B in the A tier someday, he's just not there yet. But we like Thomas Peterson. He's fighting Volker Walker this weekend. If he doesn't get heel hooked and ends the fraud hype run of Walter Walker, I might just move him up just because we like him more. But he gets some decent going on what we've seen so far. He's a good fat heavyweight. We like that. We got a lot of people improving. You don't become a jiggle master overnight. So let's keep it going. Next, also in the C tier, Martian Tybora, Tom Aspinall, according to Tom Aspinall, Martian Tybora, the future title contender. So yeah, Martian Tybora, classic fat UFC fighter. We love him. Great work from him overall across all fights. He recently lost to Tyrell Fortune. Unfortunate, but he goes constantly. He's had he go wars with Tuivasa, winning that, which bumps him up a little bit. Great performance. We got four fighters left, two S tiers. We'll do one now. Chris Dawkins. We love Chris Dawkins. That's what I was mentioning before. Philly fighter. That's one. He was actually fun fact. He was in the first UFC fight I ever watched. For Chris Dawkins versus Derek Lewis. First UFC fight I ever watched. Yeah, we love Christakis here, Philly fighter. We love all our Philly fighters. And he truly exemplified what it means to be a Saki fat heavyweight. He truly is a special build. And especially that hype run where you can look at there are UFC comments under him in his fights, whereas from when he was coming up in the ranks during COVID, yeah, him. It was one of the Chris Dawkins, Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gahn. These guys are the future of the heavyweight division. And Chris Dawkins was lost four straight fights. I think he might have the lowest average fight time in the UFC history, which is very impressive for someone who is a mediocre fighter. Because I think he won. He only won the second round once in his career. Lost that fight, but still, Chris Dawkins very impressive goals. He's done it over winning and losing performances, done it over a wide range of fights. This is a very impressive showing from this is perfect tier list. He will never perform higher in tier list than this. This is his Super Bowl. He also knocked out a bunch of cans, which you like to see from these kind of guys. There's a certain career that Jiggling Masters must take, which is being lower ranked, and like being around like 15 in the heavyweight rankings, and just or on the top of unranked, and just knocking out all cans that the UFC signs for some reason. They get to knock out all of them, but lose anyone who has a bit of skill. And that's what Shamil, Chris Dawkins, they perfectly exemplified that perfect 18th best heavyweight in the UFC, knocking out all these cans, but yet getting knocked out by anyone half decent. Moving on, we got three fighters left, I believe. Let me see who's up next. Oh, we have Alex Pereira. Definitely a real photo of him too, coming in the F tier. Yes, he bulked up a lot for his heavyweight fight against Cyril Gahn, but again, similar to Dontel Mays, if you gain it in the behind, we don't respect that. Now, Joe Rogan made some claims they might have gained all 40 pounds straight in his rear end. That is probably true, but we don't reward that in Jiggle Range to us. Because Jiggle is only in the front part of your body. So we will not be we're hurting that Alex Pereira F tier. Now we got another B tier real quick before we get to the final S tier. Waldo Cortez Acosta. He's the like king of the jiggling heavyweights. He does beat some better level competition, but he loses anyone at the really top. Curtis Blades will be dominating him. I'm 100% certain that Curtis Blades wins that fight. But Waldo, he has a good jiggle. He's at range constantly, win or lose. We like to see that. He's just not at the jiggle. He's not the fatness and jiggliness of some of the guys in the A and the S tier. We like it though, but it's not quite there yet. Maybe at the end of his career, we can bump him up a tier. And lastly, in the S tier, the undisputed pound for pound jiggling at range king. You know who it's going to be. It is Chris Barnett, Chris Big Boy Barnett. We love Chris Barnett. We hope he gets re-signed, wins some fights in the regional scene. Chris Barnett is truly one of a kind human being and fighter. We will never see someone this fat and jiggly in the UFC again. And we need to appreciate that we got mooned during a UFC fight by Chris Barnett. That's never gonna happen again. I just hope you realize that. And Chris Barnett, you can see in this photo, he's upside down. And you can see the jiggling, his fat falling down as he falls down. We love to see this. Chris Barnett is the king of jiggling at range. That'll do it for today's video, first tier list I've done. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to Geek EMA because we actually make what the people want. Everyone wants the Jiggling Range Heroes. Bedtime didn't do it. Screw you. Money Manziel didn't do it. Screw you. I mean, Tony has died did make the change to the legs hero, so we respect him for that. There's a level of respect you get for listening to the fans. But bedtime, listen to your fan base. If you switch up on today once again, we'll keep on making videos at the fans want. That'll do it. See you guys.